PYX 106.
1-800-LAW-1010. It's 1-800-LAW-1010.com.
Attorney Paul Harding on the line from Martin Harding in Mazzotti. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning, guys.
When are we wrapping up this Bruno trial? Chaz was on last week saying it would be relatively quick, like a couple weeks, right?
You know, it will be. I mean, certainly in comparison to the last trial, which seemed to go on for a semester, you've got the state, the federal government in this case, that they really have honed down their case. They've just sort of, got it a little bit more narrow. They've decided that they're just going to throw everything they possibly can in all the big stuff, kind of let the peripheral stuff fade away, and hope to catch something. But
what about, he's an old man. Leave him alone.
Yeah.
He's 85. The guy's a good public servant. Leave the guy alone, Capital Land.
Yeah, that's what they're afraid of. They're afraid that the jury's they can look at everything he's done, and he's done so many wonderful things for the district. And
let's focus on the positive
here.
Okay,
but then you've got people on the stand who go, "Yeah, we paid him $20,000 a month, but I can't tell you what he did for us."
All right,
that alone
the horse had 3 legs. So what?
That alone, Paul, isn't enough to convict a guy, though, right?
No, it's not. I mean, if you look at these lobbying groups, sometimes you pay these exorbitant fees monthly, and nothing really happens on a daily or even monthly basis. But you look at the end of the year, and they've got some legislation moving forward. So, I mean, that's pretty classic in the lobbying world. But for someone who hasn't been exposed to it, it certainly says, "Aha!" You want to point at it. But they've got great defense lawyers. Stu Jones and Bill Dreyer. They know how to do this, and the jury is going to certainly know who Joe Bruno is. They're going to know a bit about the man and just his presence. I mean, I've spent time with him over the years. I mean, when you're around him, it's a good feel, interestingly enough, and I think that somehow is going to translate into the jury's ultimate decision. But again, I don't know what they're going to do, but I know they're going to probably look at this guy and say, not to mention he's 85 years old now, and do some of the things that you said, some of the positives.
Paul, does the jury know what someone would get if they find him guilty? Like, does the jury know that if we find him guilty, he's going to go to jail? Are they supposed to know that?
Yeah, they don't. No,
they don't.
They don't. No, that's, the jury decides guilt or innocence, and then the judge has the punishment part of the trial. And so, yeah, there is that component that maybe they say, well, we'd let him go. We'd convict him if we thought maybe he wasn't going to go to jail. We don't want this guy. So they don't know that. I think probably most juries believe through a conviction that there's jail time, and historically there is.
All right. Well, he's an old man. Let him. Come on. Let's half days. Come on.
Yep.
Take it easy.
Yeah.
Nice guy. Go, Joe.
Pick up a little bit of trash.
Yeah, there you go. The orange
jumpsuit
or something.
That's right.
All right, Paul. Here's a story I've been sitting on. I wanted to ask you about. There's a guy in New Hampshire who clearly just wants to be a dink. He changed his name a couple of years ago to Human. So the guy's name is Human. And he went to the Department of Motor Vehicles to get a vanity license plate that spelled out COPSLIE. Cops lie.
Cops lie.
And the DMV said, we can't do that. It's in bad taste. And he actually went to the Supreme Court, and he won. So now he has cops lie on his license plate. I want to know, isn't that really stupid? Isn't that dumb?
Well, it's certainly an opportunity to meet a lot of police officers, I would guess. I mean, because you're going to certainly pique some interest as he's driving around, certainly in New Hampshire. They've got on their license plate, it says live free or die. Right. And they certainly are First Amendment driven and constitutional driven folks. In this case, what happened is they looked at this and they said, hey, this is constitutionally vague. They said that we got a situation here where we may not like what people say or write or things like that, but if you have an organization who's deciding, is this offensive, is this in good taste, and they don't have a clearly defined way to do that oftentimes free speech wins the day. In this case, it did. And I'm not so sure that it opened it up broadly in other states.
Well, it better, because this is great. Now we can have, Vito does the thing with the license plate.
Plate of the day.
Yeah, I mean, I should be able to go this is the Supreme Court.
Yeah,
I should be able to go put whatever I want on the license.
What if I want to put a swear on there?
Well, there you go.
Make my day. Well, New York State has a rule that basically said it can't be obscene, lewd, lascivious, or derogatory towards an ethnic group. And that has not been tested. But New York's pretty liberal, lets you put stuff on there. Most folks just put little code things on or kind of funny things on, John's Girls or something like that. But
or about Nano Man. Remember Nano Man, the guy up there in Malta? He's obviously driving in a fancy car. Nano Man. Right. Hey, Nano Man, I got your number.
They have turned down folks who've tried to use swear words and tried to say things that that could be ethnically offensive. And they haven't appealed it up. They just kind of said, "Oh, I got denied. I'll try another one."
So you can't have a swear on your license plate, but it's totally cool to wear an FU T-shirt in public. What's the defining line on that?
Well, the state's kind of putting forth those license plates, and it's sort of an authorization, and so it has a public interest to it. They're requiring license plate. Now you're putting something on there like that. Your T-shirt, you can just sort of choose that. You're not required to wear a T-shirt or anything that's said on there specifically. So that's the distinction. But ultimately, I think right now that all the DMV commissioners who have the ultimate authority are looking at the New Hampshire case saying, hey, if we're on something on the fence here that I might have turned down, I might just kind of let it go. I don't want to go down this road of being this state commissioner who gets this whole thing overturned.
The beauty of this is if it trickles down to New York, this opens up Quinn to get $5 signs on the license plate of his Keeler Mercedes. I know you've always wanted that, right?
No,
right? You're like Johnny Manziel with the money rub up here, the finger
true.
rub.
That's not true. In fact, one of my friends, John Gerber, Dr. Gerber, has the most it's like embarrassing to be friends with him.
What is it?
He has he's a doctor. Dr. Feelgood is on the back of his license plate. It's like God, come on, Gerber.
What do you have, Paul? If the glove don't fit, what do you have?
Right on.
I try to go under the radar. Yeah, I have nothing. Whatever they give me. In fact, I thought of this morning. I don't know my license plate. There was a time I did, and for some reason, I don't know what it even. I can't think of one number or letter. So when you go to sign into a hotel and they say, "Oh, do you have a car?" Yes, I do. What's the license plate? I have to go outside. So my goal today, I'm going to memorize at least my license plate.
Best license plate I ever saw. But I say this all the time. The Q's on some states, the line on the Q doesn't go outside the circle.
Right.
So LQQK, it looks like look, but with the eyes kind of shooting in one direction.
Oh, that's good.
They do get creative.
Yeah,
there are some that are just you got to think about it for a while, and you're like, yeah, that's good.
That's
right.
a good one.
There's a guy with Jeter plate, Jeter license plate too over there in Cohoes. I can't remember what. I think it's like a Ford or something.
Someone who works here has a Giants fan plate, which is a pretty cool plate.
I believe it, yeah.
So, all right, Paul. It's good stuff this morning.
Thanks,
1-800-LAW-1010, 1-800-LAW-1010.com. It's Paul Harding from Martin Harding and Mazzotti.